Hey everyone, welcome to The Explainer. So, you want to give your room a totally fresh, incredible new look, but you really don't want to spend a fortune, right? Well, you're in exactly the right place. Today, we're going to take a plain, everyday space and completely elevate it. We're talking strategic thrift finds, clever peel and stick decor, and just super simple hacks literally anyone can pull off. Whether you're a renter, a student, or just somebody craving a serious room glow up on a tiny budget, this one is absolutely for you.
I know what you're thinking. A high-end room glow-up for under $50? It sounds basically impossible, right? Most of us assume you need a massive budget or, an interior designer on speed dial just to get that luxury feel. But here's the secret. A stunning space isn't actually about how much cash you drop. It's all about how strategically you source your pieces and how smartly you upgrade them. It's a total game changer.
But before we dive into the how, we really need to talk about the why. 12 million tons. Just let that sink in for a second. According to the EPA, that is the staggering amount of furniture and home furnishings that Americans throw out every single year. It's wild. So by learning to upcycle and thrift, we aren't just saving our wallets here. We're actively stepping out of this incredibly wasteful retail cycle. It's a win-win for sure.
So, here's our roadmap for today's explainer. We're kicking things off with the tiny budget glow-up. Then we'll uncover some secrets of the secondhand hunt and move right into conquering estate sales and marketplace. After that, we dive into a super cool DIY intaglio art hack, and we'll wrap the whole thing up with professional framing on a budget. Let's get into it.
All right, Section 1, the tiny budget glow-up, rejecting fast furniture for heirloom style.
To actually pull off a $50 transformation, we kinda have to rewire how we look at shopping for home decor. The ultimate enemy of a classy, budget-friendly room, fast furniture. We're talking about that mass-produced, cheap, ultra-trendy stuff that honestly just isn't built to last more than a couple of years. You know exactly what I mean. That flimsy wall art you see at big box stores? It's made fast and meant to be tossed the second the trend is over. If we want a high-end look without the huge price tag, we have to reject fast furniture completely. Instead, we're hunting for quality secondhand pieces that actually have good bones and real character.
Moving on to Section 2, Secrets of the Secondhand Hunt, the Science of Thrift Store Success.
Okay, get ready because this is going to totally debunk the myth of weekend shopping. If you're hitting the thrift store on a Saturday, you're doing it wrong. The absolute best times to thrift are early in the week. Think Monday through Wednesday. Why? Because that's when all those big weekend donations finally make it out onto the shelves. You also want to try to go right when the doors open, or, and this is a great pro tip, use the night owl advantage and go about an hour before they close. That's usually when the staff is staging carts of fresh merchandise for the morning crew. On the flip side, you definitely want to avoid weekends, 50% off sales, and senior discount days. They are absolute chaos and usually picked completely clean by professional resellers.
And when you do go, you've got to be prepared. Think of this as your official thrifter's toolkit. First, bring hand sanitizer, because trust me, you will be digging through some incredibly dusty shelves. Next, keep a running list of what you actually need, and make sure you include your room's exact dimensions on it. You'll also want your smartphone ready to go so you can research the true value of items right there on the fly. And honestly, most importantly, never ever leave home without a tape measure. Seriously, the most gorgeous antique table in the world is completely worthless to you if it doesn't actually fit in your space.
All right, Section 3. Conquering estate sales and marketplace, sourcing high-end goods in the wild.
Estate sales are amazing. They're like these curated snapshots of an entire life, and you can find some unbelievable investments there. But you need some survival rules. Always arrive early with a dedicated go bag. Pack a flashlight and that trusty tape measure we just talked about. Here's a sneaky trick. Research the neighborhood on Zillow beforehand. More affluent zip codes usually translate to higher-end designer goods. Also, bring cash, and I mean a good mix of both small and large bills. Having exact cash on hand closes deals so much faster. And remember, all sales at these things are strictly final. Take a minute to really inspect items. Look for pests in furniture, check glassware for tiny chips, that kind of thing. Lastly, don't be afraid to negotiate, but do it respectfully. Asking for 10 to 15% off is pretty standard, especially if you're looking at a higher-priced item or buying a bundle of things.
Now, if you're more of a hunt from the couch kind of person, Facebook Marketplace is going to be your best friend. But here is a massive pro tip for you. Routinely type search terms like curb alert or free into the search bar. You would literally be amazed at the solid wood or gorgeous vintage pieces people are practically giving away just to get them out of their house. Oh, and if a seller happens to have a few different things you like, always ask for a bundle discount. It saves them the hassle of multiple meetups, and it saves you money. Win-win.
Next up is Section 4, the DIY Intaglio Art Hack. High-end decor on a tiny budget.
Okay, so let's say you've hit the thrift store and scored some cheap, super outdated art, but the frames are solid. How do we actually make that look expensive? Well, we're going to create intaglio art. Now, what even is an intaglio? Historically, it's this printmaking technique where you carve a design into a flat surface, cover it in ink, and use it sort of like a stamp. But right now, in the high-end interior design world, the trend is taking that carved stamp or mold itself, mounting it, and displaying it as a really gorgeous, textured piece of 3D art.
And guys, the cost difference here is just staggering. If you go to a high-end boutique, an authentic framed intaglio can easily set you back upwards of $150 a piece. And if you're looking at true antiques, forget about it, way more. But by getting a little crafty with some air-dry clay and those thrifted frames we found, you can easily build a complete, custom set of this exact designer look for under $20. No joke.
So here's the exact step-by-step transformation. Step 1, dissect that ugly piece of thrifted art or shadow box frame, but hold on to the good bones. Step 2, grab a silicone mold and some air-dry clay and press it in to create your classic intaglio shape. Step 3, we want to give it a really rich background, right? So use a little spray adhesive to attach some high-end looking scrap fabric or even some textured peel and stick decor right onto the backing mat. Step 4, take that old thrifted frame and rub on a product called European Gold Rub and Buff. It instantly gives it this incredibly authentic antique brass finish. And finally, step 5, once your clay intaglio is totally dry, mount it right in the center using a strong 2-part epoxy for a permanent hold. It looks brilliant.
Bringing us to Section 5, professional framing on a budget, elevating your DIY from homemade to pro.
Now, the crucial last step is making sure our newly crafted art actually looks like it came from a chic gallery and not, a grade school craft fair. Professional framers study this stuff for years, but there are a few absolute golden rules you need to know to avoid a total Pinterest fail. First rule, never ever use masking tape, duct tape, or regular cellophane tape to attach your artwork. Over time they get sticky, then they dry out, and they leave these deep, ugly yellow stains. Second rule, never tape your artwork down on all 4 sides. Doing that completely restricts the paper, so when the humidity in the room inevitably changes, your art is going to buckle and wrinkle. It's the worst. Instead, you want to use something like permanent Scotch Magic tape or better yet, a water-reversible linen tape. And here is the biggest pro secret. You only want to hinge the art at the very top edge.
The right way to do this is actually pretty simple. Basically, the window mat and the backing board should be attached to each other along one long side, kind of like opening a book. Then, the artwork itself is only taped, or hinged as the pros call it, at the very top to the backing board. This means it hangs freely right behind the window mat. It allows gravity to do the work, keeping it nice and flat without restricting its natural movement.
Now, if you're dealing with something super delicate and you don't want to use any tape on it at all, you can use pocket corners. These are just little plastic triangles with an adhesive back. You stick the corners directly to the backing board, and then you just sort of slide the bottom corners of your artwork right into them. That way, the paper is completely safe from any sticky adhesives, and it still has just enough room to expand and contract with the room's humidity, meaning zero buckling.
So there you have it. You now possess the exact playbook for a tiny budget glow-up. You know the prime days to hit up the thrift store, how to negotiate like a pro at estate sales, exactly how to craft high-end intaglio art from scratch, and how to frame the whole shebang so it looks perfectly professional. So I'll leave you with this thought. Armed with all these insider secrets, what hidden treasure is out there just waiting for you to find and transform this weekend? Get out there, start hunting, and give your space that fresh new look without breaking the bank. Thanks so much for hanging out with me for this explainer, and happy thrifting!